as it were, the noise of thunder. And I looked, and behold, was death, saying, "Come and see." And I saw, and hell followed me.
Hey, how's y'all doing? This is Mr. Blows Your Mind, coming with another thought-provoking topic. The topic for today is the fix on? That's right. You know I'm going to say that twice. Is the fix on? Now, what do I mean when I talk about the fix? Well, the fix I'm talking about is, for those who are into this political season, have you noticed lately, in the past 6 months or more, maybe this whole year, how many movies have came out about Abraham Lincoln? See where there's the vampire hunter killer, and then now you have I think it's Steven Spielberg has come out with a version. There's been several versions of this Abraham Lincoln story being again, the word I always use here is to be reinvigorated back in, to be rethrust back out. So the reason why I'm saying this is I'm actually going to call out a prophecy. I had this actually going back 4 years ago, but you know, sometimes when you're looking at things and you understand how some things are dealt with in the conspiratorial aspect of things, there's an ethical code amongst those who foretell the things or the events before they happen. It's like those people who found out when they took any denomination of any of the fiat money and you put it in a square, you'll end up seeing on that square, you'll see what? You'll see the World Trade Center burning down, correct? So the reason why I'm bringing this, and there's something in my own self, because I'm very intuitive, okay? And I listen to that intuitiveness side, and something tells me that there's something brewing. And what's a brewing is the fact that, you know, this nation is becoming more and more divided again, as into racial. Now, for a lot of people who are still in the postpartum, are thinking that just because of the president having melanated skin, there's some odd reason that racism ceased from that day of 2008 or 2009 of January, however you want to call it. So I noticed that a lot of things, when they talked about Barack Obama, they talk about how he had this, I'll say, he had this desire, or he had this as a moral mentor that he looked upon as Abraham Lincoln, as to be some kind of guide or compass, or to some standing that he believed that he himself would, you know, somehow ascertain, right? So I've seen a couple brothers who out here who kind of, you know, broke down the movie. They had the interpretations of it and so forth, and then I actually seen it for myself, and there was a couple things in those movies that I thought that was a little bit peculiar, and then it kind of had an ending to the movie that kind of foretold or is foretelling in the future. And the individual that it is being seen through the lens of the camera is seeming to be on the verge of an assassination attempt. Now, again, is the fix on? Now, currently, President Obama is supposed to have again a fixation with Abraham Lincoln coming out of the state of Illinois, and you know, the clashing between the divisions of the nation is, well, it's a taboo thing, not spoken but just kind of sensed, and we can look at it from this perspective of how a particular people claim to want to take back their country, right? As if the country had been stolen from them, or there are some things about that is being ran in the country that they're not, you know, in agreement to. And so what we have here is the Melakot cocktail. This is the ingredients that you can have for a particular scenario that a lot of people may not be looking, that can fruition right before your eyes. And the reason why I say this is because this. Alright. If Barack Obama gets elected for the second term, he'll be in his lame duck term. Now, you gotta do your own research to figure out what lame duck is. It just basically means he just has this term that once it's over, that's it. He can't do nothing else other than to try to get himself reelected, or, you know, have anything to do with campaigns. Remember, like how Bush left at the end. That's what you'll be looking forward to if Obama wins on November 6th, which I'm pretty sure they postponed it and they delayed it because of some things that had been already stated. They talked about that the election wouldn't even be counted, not even on the 6th, because of some of these early voters that somehow are now absentees, and then they have to make sure that these people didn't vote somewhere else. Again, counting up dead men votes. Okay? And it's just ironically that a hurricane basically touched down in America. Okay, people say, well, you know, they've been closed, you know, Louisiana, then you talk about down up in Florida. Yeah, but this was up there in New York. Right? And what's ironic about it to me is the fact that, you know, yeah, it looks like it could be an act of nature, right? It could be, you know, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes. Those things seem to look like they're just natural, right? That is an act of God according to the assurance, right? But can an act of God be reenacted by evil men? That's what you got to ask yourself. Can someone come up with technology that, if they're looking, because again, the reason why, before I go any further with that, is what I'm saying here is this. You have people who, whether they be, you know, I don't know, Republicans or whatever you want to call that, for the country, whoever these people might be, they have been coming up with all kinds of concoctions to try to find ways to eliminate more voters. For those who are into voting and believe in the political process, that they came up with new IDs, and then there were certain places of the poll. I mean, you know, look at all the schemes involved in there. And then they even took it into the Supreme Court and tried to get things changed, right? And then now they, you know, people start to get into this early voting, and then you come to find out that Romney has a lot of, for those who may not know, that Romney has he has his input as into these voting machines, because I think he has some kind of, you know, finance into those machines. Okay, do your research, you'll find that out. And so, you know, when you know that when you beat, it's kind of like cats that play video games and be playing online, and these cats come up with this lagging and stuff like that. Cats that ain't got no skills and they know they just can't win on natural ability. We just put Romney in that category. So you need to come out with the old okie doke move. You know what I'm saying? You need the Hail Mary. You know, one of them plays. And so when you have a team of people that is working with you, and we're talking about people who are looking at the policies of another individual that is bringing harm to them, because again, one of my videos I tell you that, you know, people intend to be one equality based on because of what something had said, but you don't look at that. Let's put it in this perspective. You got two people. You got both of them got ancestral lineage to the same land. One we know that had endured through slavery and the hardships and fighting for so-called rights and all this other stuff, correct? Then we have that same argument with another side to it. You have those same descendants of those ancestors who did all that fighting and usurping and killing to establish. Now, you have two opposite opposings trying to fight for the taking or a bigger share, and one that takes a bigger share is taking less or taking from the other side, and they don't feel like you're entitled to it. So can these two opposite opposing forces find a happy medium? This is the hope that most people succumb themselves to when they come into Christianity, in this so-called we love and melting pot theory or analogy or ideology, however you want to put it. And this is why people get to that set of mindset, and then they believe that they entitled, when you got to look at how it was all done and realize that you are already at the position that somebody already decided that you were going to be in. And now that you're trying to, you know, take more, because again, I'm going to play something for you right now. You was not originally designed in mind, and we must remember that. So now to be trying to take a big chunk of the piece, and then to have someone who was trying to legislatively make little rolls and pass so that you can, you know, nip and tuck or just suck off the tit to keep yourself afloat. And again, they don't have any use for you anymore. So they feel like, well, I don't have any obligation to you. There's no reason for me to obligate, because you should have been off the tit long ago, and you should be supporting your own self. See, so what we have here is the setup, the fix. If it should happen, the election, he should win, do you believe he can get out the next 4 years? Do you believe that? Or have you all forgotten that that's the possibility of that even happening? The high probability, because of all these Abraham Lincoln movies that's been put out here, are somehow subliminally telling you the assassination attempt is on. He's been the most attempted, the most scrutinized of any president in the history. Matter of fact, I think the damn what they call that, the president's car, what do they call that? I forgot what they call that. But anyway, shit, I think his shit is bulletproof. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, well, we know from JFK he came with the top down, then they just, you know, enclosed it. But shit, he has to have his shit bulletproofed. Okay? Plenty of attempts that they don't even talk about. This is Mr. Blows Your Mind. Stay tuned to part 2.